how do I pronounce your name correctly?
You say Mpho.
Mpho?
Yeah, Mpho Molikeng.
Mpho Molikeng?
Yeah, Molikeng.
I'm so happy to have you and tell me about your installation, which I just saw without it working yet. It's a board game, a huge form of a board game that we actually know quite well in Germany. It's called Mill in German. And those are the millstones in German.
Yeah.
And as I understood it, when one plays it in the exhibition room, one will get different sounds from the different constellations of the stones. Is that correct?
Yes. This is, it's called, in my language, it's called Moraba-Raba. Moraba-Raba, I'll loosely translate it into, inside a workstation, let's say inside a computer, that the tower. There are lots of wires going all over the place or behind amplifiers, either in a studio or what. There are all those things that if you do not know, so putting them together, that's what it is Moraba-Raba. In a game sense, it means a game of strategy. With the game, it was like it comes from different parts of the world. It's got different versions, slightly different, but it's almost the same game. Yes. So this in this case, we cannot have a giant game in the exhibition setup and then just let it go to waste. We had to find ways that will make it much more interesting and exciting. One of those was because here at Oscillations we are inquiring sound. So we wanted to inquire sound. And the reason why I actually opted for Moraba-Raba was because my people, Basotho, we are celebrating 200 years of existence this year.
Wow.
So this is my way of saying, of adding my 2 cents worth of festivities. And where else can I take it? Obviously to Berlin and ADK,
Great.
Yes. And the kind of sounds that I'm playing, that I'm going to hear, it's actually sounds that are mostly synonymous with Basotho. Yes. When you move, there are 2 different color pieces, the stones, there's a different sound for each and every one of them. And when you have a mill for each color, like have a three of them aligned, you have a different sound. Yeah. And the good thing, even when no one is playing, there's got to be some beautiful cowbells in the background. But once the game starts, then you start hearing different sounds. And these are the instruments that I play any other day or every other time.
Okay, and these instruments, we can only hear them, we will not see them, but there are photos from people playing those games,
yes.
Right?
It's actually all the instruments and all the music, it is my playing, it is me playing the instruments. And yes, we wanted people to not only hear the sound and then keep asking themselves, what is that? They should have the reference of those instruments.
How will we get the reference?
In images, that's
Oh,
the
yeah.
reference I talk about.
Yes. Very
Yes.
good.
Yes.
Okay. And we will understand which instrument is which picture
Uh,
probably.
I think it also makes an interesting inquiry in one's mind. Could this one be that? Could this one be that? Could, you know? It makes that interesting inquiry.
Absolutely, yes.
Yes.
I love the board game, interactive board game idea. So it's the name is an anagram. You just turned around the syllables.
Yes, it is an anagram, Baramoraba.
And that refers to moving the stones in different.
Yeah, you say Baramoraba. Can you decipher that? Then somebody has to now start putting it together to get to Moraba-Raba.
How does it relate to your two radio works? So this whole project has this two parts. There is the exhibition part in the space with sound art, and then there is the radio composition you made intercontinental, interdependent. So two pieces with a cellist.
Yeah.
And is there any relation between the three works, or is it are they totally separate and just show different parts of your ways of working?
With them, the radio work, during my residency, the first time around when I came, I really started inquiring about sound, and I also know the kind of music that I always play. I wanted to find something that is not so familiar, so I found a friend of mine, also from South Africa, who is now based in Berlin, and we started exploring sounds. And then at the later stage, then one of the I think then he was doing either a residency or was one of the staff members here. He started like some mixing and tweaking the sound, and it was just a marvel to listen to, because Tsepo and I we both just instrument players, so we needed somebody who can help us in that one.
Your background is being a musician, mostly a multi-instrumentalist, a composer, but also, as I read, an author and curator, and you play more than 100 instruments, as I read.
Yes.
Can you tell me more?
Some 10 years ago, actually just a little over 10 years ago, I had an exhibition at the Johannesburg library. And I didn't have any funding, so I was displaying musical instruments. I was already playing lots of instruments then, but now I had over 250 exhibition items that included instruments, books, and other materials. So because I did not have enough resources, I didn't want people to see those instruments as in the museum, you know. I also wanted them to have an audio reference and see how they work. So 8 months before the exhibition, I had to start learning a few instruments or many other instruments thereof. Reason being, I already know, because our Southern African instruments, you can classify them in 7. You know, just that they are territorial, so from every region it will come with a different name. So you also have to understand that region, and then the way you play has to be determined by the language and the rhythm in which those people use or live, you know. So that's how it got into me playing many instruments. Yes. And I'm grateful I did that. I'm grateful I didn't have funding, because if I had funding, I was gonna just say, okay, I'll have this audio here, having something to listen to. You just press the code or something, you know. And that would have deprived me the opportunity I got in at the later stage.
Yeah.
Yes.
I read also some of your articles, I still have to read them more carefully, about traditional forms of music of certain areas, right? So you're also a musicologist, working as a musicologist in a multifaceted way, as you told us, like playing the instrument, but researching how and when it is played.
Yes, yes. Funny, yes, even though I people do bestow the title of musicology or musicologist on me, or any other, it's stuff that when I first started, there was no institution that was teaching our musical instruments. But I took it upon myself and few others that came before me. But I wanted to take it a step further, because I wanted to say, okay, if we do not bring back these instruments, what are we telling ourselves? This means we are going to be diluted, and the only frame of reference we will ever know of our music will be through the pages of books, through photos and stories that will be told. So I had to change that narrative. And for me, yes, it was a very, very costly exercise, because obviously you're trying to tell people something that they are not listening to. Everybody wanted to play computer music or guitar or something. And I'm happy also that I took that route and stuck to it, because it was only in 2014 when I did the exhibition. It was the third biggest exhibition in South Africa. That's after ILM in Rhodes, UCT, University of Cape Town, and yeah. Other than that, there was also Drum Cafe, but Drum Cafe had instruments from all over Africa. So I only made a decision that I'm only going to focus on Southern Africa. People who were writing about our music were people who just were exploring that part of Africa. And along the way, they saw these instruments. They never really were there for those instruments. It were only few people who came down the line who were actually focusing on the instruments, but also as outsiders. So I wanted to write about this instrument from inside, so that I can speak for the instruments, not from an angle of a consumer. Yes. Needed seasoned writers on the music of Basotho. I told them I'm not a seasoned writer, but with this instrument, there's no one who can tell that story better than I can. And obviously they fought, and one of them won and then said, right one, let's see. I wrote the first one, and they said, can you write 5? Yeah. I said, yes. Give me a month. And within a month, I had written five of them.
So, when you would envision the next exhibition, how would you set that up?
It always depends on the given theme and the time, and the where. So, exhibition that I'm going to do, but obviously, a space in which you exhibit also determines your approach. Whether even when it becomes a group exhibition, that also changes angles. It changes your angle of your exhibition as well, you know. So there are lots of things that you take into consideration. Not that you have to. I'm going to do it like this and this, and ever since we started, it has taken a lot of shapes. I think if I were to give it a shape, by now we started as a triangle, now it's an octagon, you know. It has, because there are lots of other things that we take into consideration. There are few other things that are not practical that you have to change sides, expand, sometimes contract a little bit. Cannot be rigid, because in other words, it also, as much as it's your exhibition, you're also doing it for other people. Because once you put it there, it's no longer yours. You can only credit you for being the artist. You bear your soul out there for everyone to take a pinch or put a bandage on or whatever, and you are likewise giving them that way. You are either pinching them or you are bandaging them. So it's a two-way. Yes.
Thank you so much for telling us about this interdependency of being an artist, but having to work as a musicologist because nobody else will do it. And I think you do it beautifully and creatively, and I really hope there will be 2014 you made the first exhibition, so would be time for the second one. Huge.
You know,
but here first.
It is coming. Maybe at the moment I can't really say much, but something big is also coming to Oscillations, and most importantly, those who saw it fit to say this is a worthy cause to support. Let's give it a space and time. Thank you.